Hi everyone. So today I'm going to present my research study proposal. So the topic is the effect of Canva and background as a digital scaffolding on academic performance and engagement of student form 3 in learning history. Okay, so we go through the. Hi everyone. Now we're going to see the research topic. What is the summary? Okay. Before we go to see this one, explain first what's the topic. Okay, now we see the impact of implement of Canva and background in a education of Form 3 students. We're going to see the difference. Okay. The first one is intervention dual layered scaffolding. So integration visual design, that means is Canva. After using Canva, so we interact the feedback from the background is a quizzes to teach the 20th century Malayan social economic history. Inform 3 students history topic. For the sample, we take the 30 students from Form 3. So we apply the quasi experimental pre-test post-test design at SMK Sungai Karangan, Kulim Kedah. So for the impact, absolute the percentage point gain in history achievement is test score following the intervention. So inside the engagement paradox, so we can see the charts. So next. So we re-architecting the instruction, the pedagogical shift. Okay, the first one is traditional delivery, most to the textbook dominate, then teacher-centered lectures, only chalk and talk only. When we compare with the digital scaffolding, so we use the multi-modal visual timeless and cost effect of infographic. Okay, that one is make students more easy to memorize the points. The second one is participation. So mostly in traditional way, the passive reception of the abstract and historical concept. So as we all know that history is one of the boring subject. So how are we going to change it to the interesting subject? Okay, so in digital scaffolding, and then immediate formative feedback. Okay, after the using the background as a quizzes, so we can get the formative feedback. Okay, and then the cognitive result in traditional way, surface level memorization and rapid forgetting. Okay, it's normal in within the students. Okay, they have to memorize so many topics. So when we see the textbook also got the chapter in explanation. So when we using the Canva, they can make easy to memorize the important point. Okay, this one is a example of Canva. Canva using notes for the chapter 6 in Form 3 history. This Canva is big my student. Okay, so they prepare the notes. So it's more easy to they understanding the topic after the study with the Canva. Okay, this one is example of the background quizzes. Okay, uh, this one is a teacher based quiz. So I have to assign the quiz for the students in a class. So one by one they will answer. Though we want to see, we can see who understand more about the topics they are studying just now. Okay, so for the theoretical engine powering the intervention, so we see the mayor. Schuyler and Friedrich model. Okay. So executing the dual layered scaffolding framework. So first one is visual scaffolding via Canva. So raw historical data we filter and organize in infographic and use in Canva. So transform the length of textual industry into the structure visual representation. Student process the historical data by organizing it into the visual narrative of loading the working memory. Where we're going to see the interactive scaffolding via the background, the gamification, again the feedback loop. Okay, for example, we can see when we using background in a lab, computer lab, so each student can give one notebook, so they will answer in their notebook, and then the teacher can show the marks, so it's make students more interesting when teaching using the background. So reinforce is a visual learning for formative and interactive tasks. Okay, methodological gap in current edutech literature. So this one I'm using. So proven the efficiency. Previous studies, for the example, they're using the Canva increase classical mastery form. That's why I choose the topic and boost the motivation in non-visual subject like history. Present friction is current intervention face technical limitation. So premium paywalls, hardware, lag on low-end devices, and a heavy depends on the teacher design creativity. So assisting lecturer is heavily relying on a self-reported perception surveys and a lack of quantitative and pre-post correlation academic performance. Okay, so research architecture and instrument. So first is baseline. That one is pre-test. So the second one is intervention. So you need for the 20th century Malayan economic social with the background and Canva. So they're doing the 20 items as a test. So multiple choice and structure essay. So the third one is mastery measurement. It's a post test. The last one is engagement assessment. So there got 15 items. So 5 point Likert scale they're using for assess the emotional, behavior, and cognitive. Okay, this is the, you can see the difference between the pre-test and posts. So in the intervention of draw students from the following baseline to the boost understanding of complex and externally the effect of size indicates in the systematical pedagogical upgrade. Okay, not the statistical. Okay, the pre-test first one is mean 48.50%. The second one is 78.3%. So statistical power is T 51.38. Okay. Research question 2, sustaining the multidimensional engagement. So behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. So the first one is a student actively participate in the present to get the tests and complete the assignments on time as a behavior. Emotional, they reduce the boredom and increase the excitement. Okay, the Highlander confident in mastering 20th century history. The third one is cognitive. The highest score indicate deep scheme processing, self-regulation, and decoding the historical timeless. Okay, so we can see the graph, the engagement paradox. Okay, so this one's the explanation for unpacking data and resolving the paradox. So the correlation is flat because every single student was highly engaged. score clustered tightly between the 3.0 and 4.0 with a no low engagement group to compare against the statistical variance difference. So we can see if engagement didn't cause 29.5 score, variance what did engagement is maybe pre-request. It gets student in the door and outcome novelty of effect. Strategic implication for the humanized education. So first one is design over the declaration. Technology should not digitalize the textbook. It must be restructured then. Use the visual scaffolding like Canva. Strictly to reduce the cognitive load and map complex narrative, not just make slide looking pretty. Okay, so explaining when using the Canva, so it's important to explain the notes inside the textbook, and then the visual inside the Canva helping the students to memorize most of the notes for the exam. It's also helpful. Okay, the second one is a layer system with the visual tools alone in insufficient. So they must be paired with interactive feedback loops like background to sustain the behavior and emotional momentum once the initial novelty of the software wears off. It means we have to using the canvas to get the feedback, okay, frequent, to make the students is more engaged in the topic in history. Okay, and then the third one is re-evaluating the engagement. Policymaker must stop using the student engagement as the solo metric in edutech suggests. The true academic transforming the tools how students to using the cognitive data. So we have to make the students more engaged within the subject. So we have to using the different way, not only the Canva and then the background. We also can using the other tools like a notebook LM and also the quizzes like word wall and others lah. So for example, so it's make students more interesting in the history topic. Okay, that's all for my presentation for the proposal. Okay, thank you all. If anything in mistake in the my language or my explanation, I make apologize. So anything, thank you so much for the listening the video. Thank you.